So today's March 11th, 2017, and I'm about to get into this front end of this Jeep. So about a week ago I picked up a 1983 CJ7, and it's got a lot of wander in the steering, a lot of slop in the steering. So I'm going to start with the tie rod ends, ball joints, the sway bar bushings, the sway bar links. I've got a pitman arm puller, a ball joint press that I rented from O'Reilly's. So got a lot of new parts here as well. I got the new ball joints, and I bought the heavy duty made in the USA ball joints made by a company called Alloy. They're pretty heavy duty looking. I got some polyurethane sway bar bushings. I just went ahead and bought new links, sway bar links, and I got new tie rod ends there, and then I bought an entirely new drag link. I also have some wheel bearings and seals, and I sprayed everything down with PB Blaster last night, and I'm about to get into this thing. I got a new steering stabilizer as well. So one of the things that you can see here is that the pitman arm, this Jeep has a 4-inch lift on it, and the pitman arm is straight. And I know a lot of guys are doing the over the knuckle tie rod joints, but for my purposes I'm just going to order a drop pitman arm. So I've got that on order, 4-inch drop, it's on its way, and you can see the angle of the drag link there, far from parallel, so that's going to be causing some of my problems. And from the looks of everything under here, all these parts look pretty original. So original ball joints, maybe, tie rods, maybe, I don't know, but certainly the tie rod ends are original. There's the sway bar. So the sway bar bushings are pretty shot, and the sway bar itself pretty rough looking. So I'm going to take that off, sand it down, paint it, and I'm also going to put a new differential gasket on while I'm doing all this. And this steering brace as well, I'm going to take that off and give that some paint too. So learning a lot about the Jeep and learning some things that I like, some things that I don't like. One of the things that I don't like are these big shackles on the front. So I think this has got a 2.5-inch spring lift and a 1.5-inch shackle lift. And not a big fan of the shackles. I don't know if you can see it here, but this one looks like it's not even the right size. It's just been compressed to fit by torquing down on that bolt. So going to change that out. Going to change the suspension out eventually, but I'm not there yet. Right now I'm going to tackle this front end. So this is my helper for the day, Jake. And Jake and I are going to go, he doesn't know this yet, but we're going to go to the vet. He's got to get his annual checkup. So Jake is almost 7, so let's call this his 65,000 mile checkup. And we're going to take him to the vet and have him checked out. As soon as I get back from doing that, I'm going to get into this front end. So today's March 12th, 2017, Sunday afternoon, and I'm pretty deep into this front end rebuild, and I want to show you what I've done and some of the problems I've encountered. So this side got taken down all the way to the hub, and I was kind of stuck because I didn't have an axle nut or an axle socket that fit the nut in there. It was 2 1/8 of an inch, and a buddy of mine came over and kind of showed me how you can just tap that washer down, and that nut pretty much spun by hand. There wasn't really a lot of tension on it, which I know it's not supposed to be super tight, but probably tighter than what it was. And he helped me press in these new ball joints. So we got all the ball joints pressed in, and I was going to put everything back together today, up to the axle nut part, and then ran into this little fella in there. So that is what it looks like, the new part. with the new ball joints, and that requires a spanner wrench, spanner socket, whatever you want to call it. But either way, I don't have one, and none of the local parts stores do either. So that's where I'm at with it. So I ordered that part as well. I can get the old one out, put the new one in, and as soon as I get that part, I'll be able to reassemble this side of the axle. So over here, other tie rod end, kind of a mess. And that's the long one. I'm going to go ahead and order a new one of those, I think. So under here, I've got obviously the large tie rod off. I left the drag link, and still got a lot of work to do, but it's coming along little by little.